Have you ever noticed how ancient yogis and Buddhist monks always emphasized a single word? Observation. To truly observe something, we need to dedicate our attention to it. And that's exactly where the power lies. When you focus your attention correctly, you become capable of manifesting a quantum event in your life, just as you desire. In this video, I'll show you how you can use your attention to start creating the reality you want. Believe me, learning to direct your attention is one of the most powerful skills you can develop as a co-creator of your own life. Let's get straight to the point. Have you ever thought about how your attention shapes the version of reality you live in? At every moment, your energy follows the flow of your attention. And if you feel stuck in life, as if you're hitting a brick wall, working on something that never moves forward, or even attracting the same types of problems repeatedly, it's time to understand where this energy is stagnant. Imagine an emotional roller coaster where the same types of relationships, challenges, and frustrations keep arising. This happens because the energy that should be flowing is stuck. And when energy doesn't flow, you end up living the same experiences over and over again. Now, what directs the flow of this energy? Yes, it's your attention. Wherever you focus, energy follows. Your focus is like a beacon guiding that energy, and the way you direct your attention determines what you will attract or repel in your life. Most people have no idea that attention has a nature divided into two main types: polar attention and non-polar attention. Let's start with polar attention. This type of attention has the power to both attract and repel realities. Think of any problem you're facing right now. If you look closely, you'll notice that the problem, when viewed from another perspective, can turn into a solution. They are two sides of the same coin, and that's what polar attention does. It attracts certain experiences into your life while repelling others. Now that you understand this, you can begin to observe more clearly how your attention is directing your energy. In addition to polar attention, there is non-polar attention, which is completely neutral and has a special power, the ability to dissolve reality. But what does this mean in practice when we talk about manifesting quantum events in our lives? Think with me. Besides polar attention, which can be divided into positive and negative, non-polar attention functions very differently. Let's first understand the two types of polar attention. When you think positively about something, life makes no distinction between the type of attention you're using. What matters is the content of that attention. For example, if you hate something, you will attract more events related to that. Similarly, if you love something, you will attract more of what you love. This is the key point that few people understand. We as human beings are conditioned throughout life to operate in a mode of fear and survival because this is rooted in our biology. From an early age, we have been trained to prioritize survival. And how do we do that? By eliminating and avoiding everything that might seem like a threat. This conditioning leads us to constantly operate in a state of protection, always avoiding conflicts and risks. The problem is that this way of living makes us attract more of what we fear or try to avoid. Stop and think for a moment. What do you see most in the news, on social media? Why is fear propagated so intensely? This is a form of manipulation. The more we focus on fear, the more it grows and influences our lives. Now, a common example. Many people feel such pride in something that they are willing to fight and even go to war to protect what they love. This may seem admirable at first glance, but it's a trap. Even when the intention appears positive, like protecting something you value, the focus on the threat or conflict ends up attracting even more challenging situations. It's the classic case of the more you resist, the more it persists. This is the great trap of our conditioning. Negative attention or fear only generates more reasons to fear, just as love or appreciation, when genuine, attracts more of what we desire. And the world around us often forces us to operate in survival mode, amplifying this cycle. That's why it's crucial to understand how these forms of attention directly impact our reality and the manifestations we bring into our lives. Often, people become blind to what's really happening around them precisely because it's very easy to manipulate someone when they are overwhelmed by intense emotions like anger, fear, or pride. When you're angry, for example, it's easy to direct your actions down specific paths. Similarly, fear causes us to make decisions that aren't always aligned with what we truly want. In today's society, these emotions are constantly fueled, keeping our attention locked onto what makes us react instead of consciously acting. Most people end up living repetitive cycles, especially in relationships. How many times have you seen someone, or even yourself, attracting partners and situations that seem like a copy of past problems? This happens because those people are focused on avoiding previous traumas, fearful of repeating mistakes. Their attention is so concentrated on not having the same type of relationship they had before that they end up attracting exactly what they fear. The truth is that the more you cling to the past and try to avoid certain situations, the closer you get to them. It's like a psychological trap. By trying to escape, you end up being pulled toward what you don't want. Often, the trauma of an event that hasn't been processed correctly continues to echo in a person's life because their attention remains focused on the problem, not the solution. And this is where neutral or non-polar attention comes into play. It plays an essential role in freeing us from these cycles. But before we dive into that, we need to understand the dynamics between positive and negative attention. Life, in simple terms, only cares about the content of our attention. It responds to whatever we focus on most, whether positively or negatively. If you are experiencing a challenging situation at work, for example, like a conflict with a colleague, you have two choices. The first is to perceive this situation positively. If you choose to view this challenge as an opportunity for growth, something that will strengthen you, the energy you will attract will reflect exactly that: overcoming, learning, and growth. Now, if you choose to see the same situation through a negative lens, thinking, "This is terrible, I can't stand it anymore," the content of your negative attention will attract more chaos, stress, and discontent. What determines the reality you manifest is how you choose to interpret and focus on life's situations. When you think something like, "I can't believe this is happening, it's going to be a disaster, and there's no way to escape," you are literally attracting an energy that reflects that negative mindset. Life, like a mirror, makes no distinction between what is positive or negative. It responds to the content of your attention. In other words, if you believe that, somehow, a situation can help you grow, you shift into a more positive reality, where more experiences aligned with that growth begin to manifest. On the other hand, if your attention is focused on the negative side, believing that something bad will happen, then that's what you will start to attract. And here's the point: when we feel something positively, our mind automatically interprets it as something good. Similarly, when we feel bad, our mind categorizes it as something negative, even if we don't have all the facts. And why do we do this? Simple: fear. Fear leads us to make assumptions, often exaggerated, that something bad is about to happen. When you feel fear, that feeling generates more fear. It's a cycle. And what happens next? You start to justify that fear, seeking other reasons or thoughts that further feed that feeling. Have you noticed how, when you're afraid of something, your mind quickly creates worse scenarios, amplifying that feeling? But the question is, why do we do this? The answer lies in our own biology. We are beings that feel, and when we feel something, whether positive or negative, we feel alive. This emotional state reminds us that we are here, that we are surviving. Nature has programmed us this way. It's a form of self-protection, but at the same time, it's a trap. When we let ourselves be carried away only by these feelings, without questioning where they come from, we end up trapped in patterns of fear and negativity. And that's exactly why understanding how attention works is so crucial. When you become aware of the power of your attention, you gain control over the direction you want your life to take. The key is to stop and observe. How am I interpreting this? Do I really need to feel this way? Am I unnecessarily feeding this fear? This self-reflection opens doors for you to redirect your attention and, consequently, your energy toward a more positive and constructive reality. When we are in a state of fear, our mind kicks into gear, listing all the things that could go wrong. This is the start of a negative spiral, where each bad thought generates more focus on what could go wrong, and thus, this cycle feeds itself. Negative attention starts to take over, influencing everything around us. The key point here is that there needs to be harmony between the heart and the mind. When you feel something negative in your heart, the mind automatically generates negative thoughts that end up manifesting. This moves you onto a life path where more negative things continue to happen, creating a vicious cycle. Now here's the secret: neutral or non-polar attention. This is the key to breaking that cycle. When you view a situation with neutral attention, without positive or negative judgments, that situation loses its power over you. It simply passes through your life without leaving deep marks. Imagine an unpleasant situation. Instead of resisting or sinking into it, you simply observe and accept. There's no drama, no conflict. The event comes and goes, and your life continues on the same path as before, unaffected by that energy. Most people, however, end up resisting their past traumas and fears, giving them negative attention. Think about how this happens. When something unpleasant arises, our first reaction is to flee or fight against it because we don't know how to deal with the intense feelings that situation provokes. And by resisting, you are actually clinging even more to that trauma. What you resist persists. By trying to escape or deny, you give even more power to what you fear, and that power ends up exerting an opposing force on you. We spend much of our lives feeding these fears and traumas precisely because we haven't learned to accept situations as they are, neutrally. What really happens when we resist? We are putting more focus more energy into that event, which makes it more present and powerful in our lives. This is the cycle that keeps many of us trapped in repetitive and limiting experiences. The key to breaking this prison is to change how you direct your attention. Instead of fighting against what you don't want, try observing with neutrality. Allow the situation to exist without the weight of judgment, and it will dissolve, leaving you free to move forward without carrying the ghosts of the past. We constantly resist the things that happened in the past that we don't like. This resistance keeps us trapped in a state of trauma, resulting in situations that confirm that trauma continuing to arise. It's as if, instead of moving forward, we are stuck in those moments, perpetuating a cycle of pain. The important thing to remember is that there are always two sides to the coin, and the choice of how to perceive something is entirely yours. This power of choice is in your hands, and it changes everything. Now that you understand this dynamic, let's talk about how to use it to effectively create the reality you desire. The first step is to combine polar and non-polar attention, and this is essential. There are three main steps that, if followed correctly, can transform how you deal with negative situations and free you to manifest a positive reality with more energy and clarity. The first step is acceptance. When you are in a situation that feels hopeless, as if you're at the bottom of a well, the first move you should make is to accept what is happening. This may seem contradictory, but acceptance is the antidote to resistance. When we accept something, we stop fighting against reality, and this simple shift releases a tremendous amount of energy that was previously being wasted on resistance. Think about it. You cannot be in acceptance and resistance at the same time. Either you are fighting against the situation, or you are allowing it to exist and run its course. When we accept, we stop accumulating energy around resistance. Instead, we begin to redirect that energy toward what really matters: our goals, our dreams, and the reality we want to manifest. It's important to understand that your goals want to manifest in your life just as much as you want to achieve them. They are ready, waiting for you. But for that to happen, you need to release the energy that is stuck in the past, in traumas and resistances. Acceptance doesn't mean agreeing with or liking what has happened. It simply means recognizing that the event occurred and that you cannot change it. When you stop spending energy trying to resist or alter the past, that same energy becomes available for you to redirect toward your goals and dreams. What was once a struggle transforms into an opening for new possibilities. And this is just the first step. By practicing acceptance, you begin to dissipate the negative energy associated with past experiences, and this gives you the freedom to nurture the positive version of the reality you want to create. You are not blocking the manifestation of your goals. They are already ready to materialize. The only obstacle in your way is yourself. By fully practicing acceptance of your current situation, whatever problem you're facing, the feeling of being stuck, or even your worst nightmare, you start to pave the way for things to flow. Imagine for a moment that what you fear the most has actually happened. Visualize yourself accepting that scenario, agreeing that it is part of life, and that despite everything, life goes on. Now notice, you are no longer trapped by that fear. You are no longer haunted by it, and this is the secret. Fully accepting a negative scenario does not mean attracting it into your life. In fact, the opposite happens. When you accept the worst-case scenario, you stop feeding that fear with the energy of your resistance. The more you resist, the more you empower what you fear, making it more likely to happen. However, by accepting, you take away the power that fear has over you, allowing it to simply dissolve. This is where neutral attention comes into play. Acceptance is a form of neutral attention. By not placing emotional weight, either positive or negative, on what is happening, you allow the situation to run its course without affecting you. And this is crucial for any significant change in our lives. To transform any area of your life, you must start with complete and total acceptance of the present moment. Think about it. You cannot change the now. The present is always flowing, always transforming. When you try to grasp it, it has already become the past. And there is no way to change something that has already happened. What is within your reach is the ability to choose what you desire in the next moment. Often we try to resist the present because we fear what it represents. But what truly holds us back is this constant struggle against what already is. Acceptance does not mean giving up or settling for what is bad. It actually means stopping the waste of energy on resistances that serve no purpose and redirecting that energy toward what you want to create. By accepting the present, you create space to choose and focus on the next step, on what you truly want to manifest in your life. Many times we believe that if something doesn't go as planned, we are failing. We cling to and identify with our actions, creating catastrophic scenarios that we end up accepting as truth. This mindset can be oppressive, but by fully accepting it, you begin to reduce the importance you assign to these events. The second step in this process is to recognize how this setback or unfavorable event can be a disguised blessing. Every event that happens in our lives is in fact neutral. We are the ones who make it positive, negative, or neutral, depending on the nature of our attention. Instead of viewing a situation as something bad, try asking yourself, how can this be an advantage for me? This shift in perspective can be transformative. When you adopt this approach, you begin to see situations in a new light, seeking out the good in them. For example, there may be something you cannot see at first. Sometimes, something happens to protect us from a worse path. Imagine you missed a bus. In the moment, it may feel like a great frustration, but what if it was saving you from an accident? It could be that the universe is protecting you from something you still cannot understand. This is one of life's great lessons. Often, what we consider a misfortune may actually be a form of protection. Have you ever stopped to think that in every event of your life, there might be a reason behind it? Sometimes, what seems like a stroke of bad luck is actually a change directing us towards something better. By adopting the mindset that everything happens for a reason, you make space for blessings to reveal themselves. Instead of getting stuck in the negative, you can begin to view each situation as an opportunity for growth and learning. If you can transform this perception, the power of your attention will redirect itself to what truly matters, your goals and desires. And this not only frees you from the chains of the past, but also creates a vibrant space for new experiences and opportunities to manifest in your life. Knowing that you can redirect your attention more effectively once you have reached a state of acceptance is crucial. When a wound is recent and something negative happens, do not expect to see the disguised blessings right away. The first step is to achieve a level of acceptance. This means acknowledging that what happened. This understanding helps you step out of the intense emotional reaction that often prevents us from seeing the situation clearly. Once you reach a more neutral state, then you can start reflecting on how what occurred could have positive potential. What may seem like an emotional roller coaster now could be an opportunity for learning or growth. The final step is to continuously redirect your attention to what you truly desire. When you are in a state of total acceptance, your mind and energy are free to focus on what you want to manifest. Imagine being in a place where your attention is no longer consumed by the worries and fears of the past. As you become skilled in this process, you become unstoppable. No one can hold you back. This is the secret that determines which life path you choose to follow and which quantum events manifest in your reality. Everything is interconnected with how you direct your attention. Many ancient cultures and spiritual traditions emphasize the importance of paying attention, of observing. This practice of being present in observation mode is essential for creating a more conscious and desired reality. When you learn to observe without being swept away by emotional reactions, you begin to realize how your choices and the way you channel your attention shape your life. It's as if you are in control of the command panel of your own journey. What you choose to focus on and nurture will determine the quality and nature of the experiences you attract into your life. Therefore, the practice of intentionally cultivating attention is essential to becoming the co-creator of your reality, guiding it toward what you truly desire. We are bringing all of this together. We start by using non-polar attention, entering a state of acceptance, recognizing that what happened is neither good nor bad, it simply is. From that point, we begin to reflect on the possible disguised blessings, and finally, we move toward a positive perspective. This process is one of the most powerful tools we have at our disposal to shape the reality we desire as its co-creators. The truth is that attention is your most powerful tool. When you learn to direct it effectively, doors open to manifest the life you truly want. Therefore, the message I want to leave with you today is this: if you are feeling bad about yourself, allow yourself to accept that feeling. Don't be afraid to acknowledge that you are going through a tough time. Accept that you feel bad, and once you are in that state of equity, you can, in fact, direct your attention toward what you truly desire. It's essential to understand that if you try to hide, repress, or suppress what you are feeling, it will eventually come back to haunt you in the future. This behavior can be a form of resistance. Even when you stand in front of the mirror and repeat positive affirmations, if you do not allow your real feelings to surface, you are, in fact, resisting your own emotional experience. True transformation occurs when you embrace your emotions, allowing them to flow. It's not about getting stuck in them, but rather recognizing them and letting them go. When you accept how you feel, you release the energy that was trapped in resistance, and this freedom allows you to create space for the manifestation of what you truly desire. So, instead of fighting against your feelings, use them as a guide. They can lead you to valuable insights and help create a clearer path toward the reality you want to build. This three-step method, when applied continuously, has the power to transform your life in ways you never imagined. By learning to accept, redirect, and choose what you truly desire, you begin to release energy that was previously wasted on resistance. It's as if you are unlocking a flow of energy that allows you to create the reality you want. Remember, acceptance does not mean resigning to defeat. It is, in fact, recognizing the present reality. And it is in this space of acceptance that your vision vision becomes clearer, allowing the journey toward your desires to unfold. By embracing even the worst-case scenario, you release the energy that was trapped in the struggle against it. It is at this moment that your attention transforms into the driving force of change. When you redirect your focus to what you truly want, reality begins to reconfigure in response. As co-creators of our own reality, we have the incredible ability to choose our path, shape our experiences, and define our destinies. True transformation arises when we choose to direct our attention to what really matters in our lives. With this, we move forward with confidence and purpose, always remembering that you are the architect of your own destiny. Thank you for embarking on this journey with me. If this video resonated with you, don't hesitate to like and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with others so they can also benefit from this powerful message. And please, leave a comment below sharing your thoughts, reflections, and experiences. Thank you once again for watching and for joining me. Take care and see you soon.